All right. Anyway, let's begin the campaign. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the brand new Guild Gates and Goblins campaign, Black Blades. Now, as you can see, I'm DMing this one. Craig is a player. He was just so bad that we had to demote him. And
Fuck, you're gonna be the worst player ever then. Fuck.
you already are. And I'll be creating and running this campaign. There's just a few admin things to get into before we start the show. If you'd like to listen to this on whatever podcast platform, this is going to be excellent. Platform you prefer, there's a link down below to our Podbean, but I believe that distributes it to all sorts of popular podcast apps, and it's on iTunes and all sorts of stuff like that. So once again, thank you to Bicco as well, who does a great deal of our graphical work. He's awesome. He does a huge amount of things for my main channel and for the D&D stuff as well. So shout out to Sam. And if you'd like to discuss the show and share any questions or any content that you have with me and the cast, we have a subreddit we use, which is /r/guildgates. There'll be a link to it in the description below, and we're all active on there, so it's generally the best way to get in touch if you want to ask anything about our characters or about what went on in the episode, or you want to speculate, etc, etc. So you can follow all of the cast on Twitter as well. I don't know about Scott. He has a Twitter, but it's an absolute travesty. So you can follow the rest of the cast on Twitter in the description down below. Their handles are down there. However, that's, I think, all the admin things that we have to get through. Unless there's anything else that anybody can think of.
No, I'm too excited.
Okay.
Just because someone hasn't sent a tweet in 6 years of having Twitter doesn't mean
Scott, I think your Twitter name is Dr. Pepper PhD. So
that was Halloween and it was brilliant. Thank you very much.
It was awful. So let's get going. So welcome everybody to Black Blades. Now, the world in which our tale is going to take place has many names, but in the common tongue it's referred to as Lomos. The characters are enrolled at the Silver Peak Academy, carved into the very stone of the mountains that dominate the small island that has simply come to be known as Silver Island. The island itself is a fortress designed to resist any attempt of foreign intervention should any one nation be foolish enough to try to capture its influence. Even the island's location is supposedly a secret, of course a terribly kept one, but it makes the point that visitors are not welcome except under express invitation. All students, staff, and the island's own private military, the House Guard, are immediately sworn to an oath of secrecy regarding ongoings at the Academy, requiring to agree to silence before they are even allowed to board a ship towards the island itself. Students are taken from every corner of the world of Lomos. All 14 nations receive an allocation of 5 places a year, and how they allocate them is up to the nation itself with very little intervention from the Academy. Few rules exist, only that they must be of a grown age, and that upon acceptance of a place they forfeit all political claims and titles that they once held. Nations vary in their selection methods. For instance, the tribes of the Katarii hold blood sports every year to select the strongest young warriors, whereas in the Kingdom of Albia, noble houses are honor-bound, and sometimes even politically motivated, to surrender their most talented youth. Each nation sees filling the ranks of the Academy as a time-honored tradition that has gone on for centuries, and it has become somewhat of a political bragging competition to send the greatest prospects to be trained there. Now, as for the party, they are on the second leg of their journey, having set off from Copeland in order to reach the Academy from their home nations. Deep asleep in the cabin of your transport ship, the Lady's Friend, you're awoken to the sounds of a storm raging, and also battle ringing out overhead. And I'd like you all to roll initiative. Welcome to the campaign.
Alrighty then.
And I'm starting it off real good. Roll the
I
six.
always love starting things with a dice roll.
Yeah, exactly. You need to get your natural ones out the way.
Hey.
Oh,
Okay.
I rolled a 19.
I got a 5. Well, 7 total actually. 7.
I got an unnatural 20.
Alright, well you can add those all to the turn timer yourselves, I believe. I'll be rolling for our friends who've joined us.
I'll have to add us to the turn order.
I've added you to the turn order.
I'm still on the map.
Yeah, I'm reloading.
I haven't put the players on the right one. Wait, there you go. Now you should be
Hey,
able to see
look
the
at
turn.
this.
Can you
There
see
we
the turn
go.
timer now?
Fat 6 to start the campaign. Let's do it.
Nice. Starting out strong. Alright, I rolled a 4, a 15, and a 3. But none of you are actually above board yet, so we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Alright, are we all in?
Looks good.
All right, Adrastus Telemann, why don't you introduce yourself and take your first actions?
Okay, so the cabin door slams open, and a young man with close-cropped black hair, blue eyes, and tanned skin just stumbles outside. He's wearing interlinked leather armor that's been hastily thrown on. There's some clasps that are a little bit undone. He's got a wooden shield in one arm and a scimitar in the other. Just through the chest of the armor, you can see an eagle feather on a necklace poking out. And with every lightning strike, you can see just the glint of a wolf's head clasp over his left shoulder. There is also a small signet ring, again glinting when the lightning strikes. With a bit of a determined smile, he steps out, but he's not quite got his sea legs yet, so he just stumbles slightly.
All right, and Adrastus, would you like to take your turn? The scene that you're met with as you stumble out of the cabin doors is one of utter chaos. You can see a couple of deckhands laying injured above board, and to the end of the ship there seems to be one of the actually Qatari fighters that was also aboard the ship before you got on even. Seems to be dueling it out with a couple of the boarders. You can see a small sloop aligned to the right-hand side of your ship. There's another pirate in the middle who seems to have just been done felling one of the deckhands, and behind you can hear more fighting, although you're not quite sure what's going on up on the upper deck. What would you like to do?
I think with a bit of a smirk, he just kind of says to himself, well, this will be an interesting challenge. And then he is going to use a bonus action and wild shift into a crag cat.
As you do, all right.
So let me just put the ninja of shapeshifting. And then, I'm just measuring that. I am going to move. If I move just up here to like this corner here,
yep.
Is that pretty much a straight shot from there going to this invader here?
Yeah, you could see. So he's going to be like up a sort of 5-foot high staircase from you.
Yeah.
But yeah,
okay.
you would be able to have clear line of sight. You can quite clearly see this large Qatari figure dueling back and forth with a pirate both in front and behind him. He seems to be wielding a large two-handed axe and just using his brute force to keep shoving them away to keep himself alive, essentially.
Yeah, so I am going to move up here and then leap or pounce, as the actual thing is, onto this fighter here.
All right, so you can spend the rest of your movement to charge at that pirate and attack, and I believe the pouncing is part of your attack, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so roll your attack.
I think you have to make a DC 13 strength save.
You have to hit with an attack first.
Okay, no problem at all. So
You gotta hit that pounce.
Yeah.
That is
Otherwise, you're going off the ship if you miss, brother.
And I can't turn into anything that can swim, but that's an 18 to hit.
Yeah, the 18 certainly hits. You manage to land with your full body weight just square on this guy from the side as he's distracted fighting. Roll your damage.
Okay, and one.
So it's a strength save from me as well, right?
Yep. So that is D10. So
yeah, that's a 4 from our pirate friend.
okay, so that is 1d10 plus 3, so that's 11 points of damage.
All right.
And I also get a bonus attack because he's prone.
You spent your bonus action turning into a crag cat, I believe.
Okay, so a bonus attack doesn't count as a bonus action as well?
I don't know. Does it say that it does?
It doesn't. It just says bonus attack bite versus prone target.
Oh, if it's part of your attack action, then yeah, sure, go for it.
Okay, so that's another D10. And that's another 11.
All right. Yeah, okay, so you pounce on this guy from the side, catching him completely unaware, and he's barely got time to use some very colorful sailing language before your teeth just sink into his throat and rip it out. And you hear a towering voice from above you go, "Little cat has strength, perhaps." As the Qatari fighter, dressed in his hides and his scraps almost of chainmail, just turns around to focus on the pirate behind him.
Cool. And I think that's all my movement done. So yeah.
All right.
That's my
Coraline, why don't you make your entrance?
All right, so out from the cabin comes a young, early 20s female. She is mostly human, but she has kind of elvish features. She has auburn tied up hair in a loose bun, green eyes, and fair skin. She dons a full set of quality chainmail armor, like pretty posh stuff. It's white and it has gold and blue kind of like lining and emblems and stuff like that all over it, so it's really nice looking. She has a shield, which is made out of metal, same kind of pattern going on, and the same thing on her flail, which is what she's wielding in her other hand. It's all embroidered and has insignias on it, and she also has a holy symbol on the hilt of it. And she carries a holy symbol on her belt as well. So she kind of comes out, kind of like looking sheepishly and eager, kind of out of the cabin.
All right. And why don't you take a turn? Again, you're greeted with a similar scene that Adrastus saw. However, now there is a large crag cat, which you most likely wouldn't recognize, on the bow of the ship, which appears to be fighting alongside a large Qatari fighter that you've seen prior.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I look around.
It's worth noting the sounds of battle still ring up from up and behind you. You can hear quite intense fighting going on there.
Okay. Straight ahead of me, like the person who's the red person right there. That's a pirate.
That is a very hostile pirate that appears to be towering over, or sort of checking the pockets, maybe, of this very unfortunate-looking deckhand who's slumped against a wooden railing of the ship at the moment.
Okay. I go, okay, you can do this, And she charges in.
All right. You charge up.
So yeah, I'm just gonna try to make a swing at this person.
All right.
Let's see here. With my flail.
Please.
Can you believe?
Is it a 1?
Can you believe that my first roll is a nat 1?
Yes. You say that, but I couldn't believe if it was anything else.
Oh, yeah. The jitters kind of got to me, and I kind of tried to like swing out.
You get a little bit nervous, you get a little bit overexcited, and as you start swinging as your charge, you just catch your sword perfectly on the mast, and it sticks in and completely halts your charge. You have to yank it free before sort of sheepishly stumbling forwards to engage this opponent, but I'm afraid your sword didn't really make it within even 4 feet of her.
Oh, that's all I got.
And she sort of looks up at you and smokes and goes, "Ha! I love newbies." Alright. So it's the turn of our large Qatari friend, and Adrastus and Coraline you would also see. Oh, do you want to move up as well, by the way, Lauren? You can move up to wherever you want.
Sorry, I'll move up to it.
You see this large Qatari turn with this grin, and he has a very commanding presence on the field. He goes, "You board the wrong ship today, friend." And he swings this enormous two-handed axe that actually seems to have a blade made of stone jutting out of it, almost like a jagged, white-looking stone, towards his pirate in front of him. And he slams it down into the railing of the ship as the pirate dodges to the side, looking ready to counterattack, but he does not make his attack. Oz, why don't you make your entrance?
Okay, so scampering out of the cavern comes a lizard folk. He stands just under 6 feet tall, his skin pale green set of scales with a bright red ring of spines around his face. He wears long brown robes comprised of mostly patches of cloth and leather. Numerous small bones and shining metal objects dangle and click from his clothes and along his arms and legs. A tall wooden staff is gripped in his arms, the base affixed with a long humanoid bone of some sort, and the top has numerous tiny bones and feathers and small charms which dangle off it. An anxious look passes his face as his eyes dart around the body of the ship before he screams out, "Attack! We're under attack!"
Alright, and why don't you take your turn? As you've attracted just about everybody's attention, you even see every fighter in front of you pass a quick glance towards the screaming lizard folk.
Okay, and so I'll move over here, to there, and I'll fire a firebolt at the one Coraline is engaging.
Alright, make your attack.
That's a natural 20.
That certainly hits.
Ooh. So that's 10 points of damage, 10 points of fire damage total.
Alright, you can see the fireball catch her in the side, and immediately part of her jacket, which seems to be made up of sort of tattered cloth and scraps of leather, just ignites. And you can see it burns for quite some time before she manages to rip it off and throw it onto the ground, but she's certainly looking a bit less smug than she was after Coraline's missed attack.
Nice.
Alright, Derek, you're up.
Yeah, so bursting out from under the deck is a shorter, stouter, kind of human man with a dark brown hair, kind of slicked back. Normally he's wearing a formal vest and white long sleeve shirt and dark pants, but right now he's hastily putting on his leather armor and brandishing a rapier, Derek runs out, goes, all right, why is this, what's going on? And he runs into...
At that point, when you yell that, you hear from up on the deck above you, which I believe is actually, unironically, the poop deck, by the way. I think that's what one of those is. Craig can probably correct me, but...
No, I think that's right.
So, up from the poop deck, you hear a voice reply to you, goes, I don't know why you're all yelling. Could one of you give us a hand? And you just hear swords continue to clang up there.
So I will, I'll run ahead and attack the pirate that Coraline is attacking as well.
Alright, make your attack.
Since I'm within 5 feet, if this hits, sneak attack bonus. Love it.
Nice.
God, I'm rolling awful. That is a 9 total.
A 9 doesn't hit, I'm afraid. Perhaps it's all just the writhing to get out of the burning trench coat, but you can't quite find an angle and your blow just deflects off of one of the more reinforced bits of her breastplate.
I'll take a bonus action to disengage and run back this way.
Alright, so yeah, Caroline, to your eyes, the man you met recently called Derek, that you know very little about, sort of runs up and flails at the air a little bit and then disappears out of your sight again behind you. And at this point, you hear from up on the deck here, for goodness sake, oh, got to do everything myself. And you're gonna hear... Alright, you hear a cry of pain from up on the poop deck. Although, what else is happening up there isn't really evident to any of you at the moment. And it is the turn of the pirates. So, the pirate facing you, Coraline, is still alive. So she's going to make a slash at you, and she's going to connect with a 14.
Nope.
Alright, so her saber does just manage to clatter in, but it catches one of your epaulets and just is deflected away. And she looks very frustrated as the blow is completely ineffectual, but she actually has a small dagger in her left hand that she swings upwards. Oh, and that's a 21 to hit.
That does hit.
So as you're focused on turning away this blow with your shoulder, this small dirk just punctures under your breastplate, and you can feel it not inflict a great wound on you for 3 points of damage, but you feel it scrape against skin and rib, and it's certainly a painful blow. However, looking at this pirate as you're now very directly fighting her, you can see that there's a little trickle of blood coming from the mouth, and she really seems to be in sort of instinctual fighting mode. She doesn't look like she's got too much left in her. Alright, and the fighting up on the poop deck will continue, although out of your guys' sight. Okay, you hear a very loud clanging of blade on blade, but no more cries of anguish from up there. And the pirate attacking your Qatari friend also swings, but he's so thrown off balance by dodging the massive axe. That's a very weak blow that just clatters against the outstretched arm and is pushed away by the Qatari fighter. Adrastus, you're back up.
Okay. I think... Let's have a look. Just want to measure something here. Yeah, I think he's going to, like...
You can make it up there.
Yeah. Can I make it up there in a straight line? In a pounce?
You know, it's such a fine line with the staircase, I'll say yeah, sure.
Alright.
Oh,
He doesn't
in
go
a
up the
pounce.
staircase. He's pouncing up.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm
With
gonna...
your pounce as well, I no, you can't pounce. You can try. I'll let you try if you want to try, but you'll have to roll for it.
I think I'll just run up and just put myself
It's like an
here.
8-foot climb, so yeah. Really
Yeah,
good
but
idea.
there's nothing worse for first impressions than if I try and jump and smack my head on the railing and just
I think a
slump down.
face-planting crag cat is an excellent first impression.
And I think I'll just try and bite that guy there.
Alright, roll your attack.
Ooh, that is a 10.
Alright, so yeah, you charge up, but unfortunately for you, a large crag cat running up a staircase is quite a sight to behold, and the pirate's ready, and he manages to just leap back a couple of feet and dodge your gnashing jaws. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Alright, Coraline, you're up.
All right, after taking that blow from that pirate, it's time to dish them back. So I'm going to try to hit again.
I really hope you miss.
Don't even.
I'm running out of, like, narrative excuses for you to have not killed this pirate.
That's actually a 21.
That
hit.
certainly hits, yes.
All right. So that's 6 damage.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it. So, yeah, well, what do you do? How do you finish her off? Take it away.
Well, so I get hit, and then I just kind of like stare her in the face as she's kind of like grinning at me, and I just pick up my flail and just smack her right in the side of the head with it.
Alright, yeah, if you've ever seen a flail hit a human head, which you likely have, it's quite a sight to behold, and you feel her neck just crack round as she just slumps to the floor. And the rest of you hear a sickening crack and a thud coming from the location of Coraline.
So I just kind of take a look around to see where the next pirates are. And that's my
from
turn.
where you're standing, if you look up, you can just about see at the wheel of the ship. You can see blades in the air, and you can see the captain that you very briefly met, called Moira Redbraid. You recognize her very extravagant hat with feathers coming off of it, and you see blades raising in the air every now and again from up there. Okay. And of course, you can see the Qatari.
Can I see the one at this? I was gonna say, can I see the one at the front of the ship here?
Yeah, you can see the Qatari very clearly. There's only a very small wooden fence at the top of that staircase, and this man must stand about 6.5 feet tall. And you can see him repeatedly trying to slam down this wooden, like, a stone monstrosity of an axe onto this hapless pirate who's desperately dodging out of the way.
All right, so he looks like he can handle himself pretty well, so I'm gonna go upstairs.
He looks like he can.
So I'm gonna go upstairs to engage the next one here, and then that'll be my turn.
Okay. Is the turn of our Qatari friend, who, yeah, well, he rolls a nat 20, so I'm not even going to bother rolling the damage for this. He just lifts up his monstrosity of a two-handed axe and slams it down on the head of this pirate, and yeah, you don't see any more movement coming from that side of the ship after that. We hear a, this is excellent warm-up, I like it here. Oz, you're up.
Okay, so Oz will mutter to himself first, help or hide! Oh! I help! So I'm gonna skitter up the staircase behind where the crag cat went, and try and fire a firebolt at the pirate above the helm.
All right.
So that's 18.
Sorry, which one are you firing at?
The top one.
Okay,
I
excellent.
guess, for perspectives. So 18.
Yeah, that certainly hits.
Okay, and that just deals 6 damage.
Okay, so again, you see a firebolt just slam into them. Nothing ignites this time, but it's left with a nasty scorch mark and some charred flesh visible on his back. And you just hear him let out a horrendous grunt as he withstands the blow, but he's still standing.
Okay,
all right.
Ryan's my turn.
Derek, you're up.
I was actually going to ask Coraline if she'd let me pass, because I was going to do this.
Yeah, you can, like, she's at the top of the staircase. There's enough space for two people to pass.
Rather, sorry. Oh yeah, so I'm going to run up the stairs, and given my swinging ability, I'm going to try to stab this person again.
John, you always talk about your swinging ability. We don't want to hear it, man.
I'm proficient in swinging. That is an 11.
That does not hit.
I am doing amazing.
So you go for what you think is going to be an incredibly artful backstab, and it just gets tangled up in what appears to be an amalgamation of hide and leather armor. You kind of have to wrench it free, but you certainly got the pirate's attention now, because trying to stab with someone in the back is a pretty good way of doing that.
Backstab. No, that's it for me.
Backslash. All right. So we're going to go to Moira, who goes, finally, you make it up the stairs to help us. All right, then. And she's going to turn towards the one that you hit with your firebolt, Oz. And she is going to swing at that with her jewel-encrusted saber. And she seems to just about land a hit on them, which is a nasty hit. And you see this pirate reel backwards, and you just catch a glimpse of his face as he turns to the side as he does so. And this has gone right across his face diagonally, and you see blood just pouring down it. And he looks like he can't even open his eyes, and he's just kind of standing there dazed. But that will be the end of her turn. Now, pirate time. So, the gentleman that you just tried to backstab, Derek, is going to turn around and return the favor.
Come on.
He swings at you with a very, very rusty, rickety-looking cutlass, and, well, it's a 5, so you just very easily parry it after you manage to pull your dagger out. And the other, who's just been near blinded by this horrendous cut, is going to blindly swing at Moira. Okay, and he seems to connect with his saber. However, the damage is pretty pathetic, and you just see a small graze open up on Moira's arm as this completely wild swing just manages to catch her. Adrastus, you're up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and bite this guy to put him out of his misery. And that is a 23.
I think a 23 will hit, yeah.
Yep, and then where's my D5 gone? That's good. And that is 10 points of damage.
All right. Yeah, that does it. What'd you like to do?
I think as he's kind of swinging around, I'll just wait till his back's turned and then just leap on his back, like throwing him to the ground and then just bite into his neck. And
All
that's
right.
it.
Yeah, you don't even feel any resistance. As soon as you clamp your jaws shut, he just goes limp. And there's only one pirate left. So at this point, well, we'll see. Caroline, what would you like to do?
I'm going to swing at the pirate who's fighting Moria.
All right.
That's going to be a 11.
11 does not hit, I'm afraid.
Wow.
However, he notices your swing. And at this, he kind of dodges out of the way. He looks around at the lottie and he goes, all right. I'll give up. Just don't kill me. And he just drops his cutlass to the floor and it makes a rattling noise as it hits. I want to take you out of combat there. So, what would you like to do?
I mean, I guess I'll see what Moria does.
Yeah, I'll just kind of pad over and just kind of
Pad over.
stand there.
Moira's just staring at this pirate and goes, do you know the vessel you've attacked? What it is? And he just looks and goes, oh, wasn't told anything. Just a job for gold. That's it. And he seems to be getting very, very nervous and is looking around at some of you, and you see the sudden terror of realization, I would say, slowly sink in across his face as he seems to be realizing what he might have attacked. He's looking around and he goes, oh, I didn't know they had ones that could turn into whatever that is, and gestures at Adrastus, still in his crag cat form.
I will
I'm just
say, does Derek know what a crag cat is?
I would say you wouldn't know exactly what it is, but you recognize it's some large predator animal. It's not like something you've absolutely never seen anything like before. But it's like an unusual looking wolf to you, essentially.
I'm just kind of. Sorry, go.
I'm trying to keep Coraline between me and the cat.
I think I'm just looking backwards and forwards between Moira and the pirate.
I was gonna say, I look at the pirate guy and I go, on your knees then.
Yes. Alright, don't hurt me, alright? And as he turns around and sort of gets on his knees, you catch a sight of him, Derek, and I would like you to make a... We'll go with you can make your choice of a history or just an intelligence check, whichever you prefer.
Alright, they're the same, so...
Alright, easy.
Hey, this is a roll of above 10. Good job, me. Rolled a 13.
Alright, looking at him, you don't recognize any obvious insignias, but you've seen his kind a lot at the docks of Copeland, and this man very clearly belongs to some sort of mercenary brigadier gang. Almost definitely an outlaw in Copeland. Just from the types that you've seen before.
Yeah, I've seen these kind of people before. The trash.
He goes, well, just trying to make an honest living. I didn't mean... He looks around and he's like, I was about to say no harm, but... it's not personal here, it's just business.
Well, the business end of the law is going to deal with you then. And so... Can I walk over to him and try to, tie him up? I'm assuming there's rope lying around.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a ship. There's plenty of rope all around. Yeah, you can absolutely tie him up if you wish. He doesn't seem to be offering any resistance at this point.
Yeah. So I'll try to tie him up there with some rickety rope.
Could I peek over the side of the ship? Because you said there's sloop. There's
Yes.
a sloop on the other side. What's happening there?
It appears to be like this boarding party was the entire crew of that sloop. And it's kind of just still roped to the ship at the moment, like moored to the ship, essentially.
So I'll just turn back to everyone and say, what do we do about that?
And at this point, Moira looks at you and goes, well, I saw you fighting with fire. Just burn it out. We'll come out to get it again otherwise, and we don't have the crew. She gestures down at the deck. We don't have the crew to take it ourselves, so less for them, I say.
All right then, I'll stop blasting it. I'll just start methodically fireballing it until it catches
Yeah,
fire.
you even despite the rain, you catch the sails, you catch piles of ropes, and eventually Moira looks and goes, I didn't say that to... Alright, well, cut the ropes tying them to us, because...
Oh, good idea.
You know, they don't look like the best pirates, but they might have cannons, so... You don't really want to mix that in fire while you're standing next to it. Alright.
I'll start running up and down and chopping the lines.
Yeah, the large Qatari fighter comes next to you and starts slamming down on them with his axe as well, and they just easily just cut in two under the weight of his axe. For you, it takes a bit more effort with the ship's knife, but you seem to be getting through them. And eventually the other boat and the ship you're on, the lady's friend, just start drifting apart from each other.
I look at the pirate and go, so, who signed your contract?
Oh, I didn't know his name. I'm not the boss. I just look at it. The boss of the crew's dead. It was her. He gestures down at the deck. So like Coraline's smashed in the head with a flail. He goes, look, I didn't know anything about any of this. All right, I just get my cut. I don't ask any questions.
I think I'll shift out of Cragcat. So I'm
He
just...
says,
Do I-
bloody hell! As you
Do I-
appear
I
next
was gonna
to
say,
him.
Connor, do I believe him?
Oh, you're welcome to make an insight check.
While she's doing that, I'll start walking towards the body that he pointed at.
Can
That's an 18.
Okay, so as an 18, I would say that it's always difficult to discern purely if somebody is lying, and you're not sure whether he's just extremely nervous or what, but he certainly isn't being forthcoming with you.
Can I, as she's asking him that question, can I kind of lean in and be like, for the record, human blood does not taste very nice, so I would be honest. And just kind of sit back.
Bloody hell, you're... I know what you are. I've seen your lot before. Well, they're never like that. I've never seen them do that. He's sort of glancing at your very finely crafted leather armors and very nicely sort of made up outfit. He goes, yeah, look, I ain't got any trouble with your lot, alright?
I mean,
Alright,
you attacked us, so...
Look, I
there's
didn't even know
trouble
what was
there.
on the ship. I didn't know yous were on the ship. I was just told we're meant to take this ship and take it back to Copeland, alright? Back to Bricktown. Somebody wanted it in the docks, alright? That's all I know.
Captain, will there be someone at our destination who will be able to inquire more thoroughly?
Right, you're new. How do I put this? His sort aren't exactly welcome on Silver Island, you know. And she kind of like leans behind him and is like,
Okay.
and this is just white in the face, as she wasn't the most subtle in conveying her meaning. He goes, look, just give us a life raft and a paddle. I'll go back on my own. Don't kill me, all right? I can tell you more.
Tell us more. I thought you said you didn't know anything.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know anything. Just, it's nothing, is it? Like, we get the jobs from some bloke. He's he thinks he's really shady. Thinks being clever in a pub at the docks in Bricktown. But really, that's all I know.
What's the pub called?
It's called the Galloping Beauty.
Okay.
But it was Anne that would deal with all that. I'd have to stand outside. No, I'm just dog's body. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not involved in planning or anything like that.
Sorry, did you say her name was Anne?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else could you possibly tell us that may help us to not do the thing?
I mean, I think that's up to you at this point. If you've got questions, you can ask them, but I mean, you've caught me red-handed, really, ain't you? I just don't want to hang. Don't take me back there.
Listen, I'm not here to discuss this. This is taking way too long. You either tell us or you're dead. Come on.
Oh, you're from Bricktown.
Born and raised.
Whoa.
I've seen a lot of you, and I've seen a lot done with you as well.
Well, yeah, in that case, you probably know that there's not really anything I could say, is there? And
Nah, your hands are tied either way.
Yeah, at this point, he just sort of looks away a little bit. He kind of shrugs. He goes, "Well, it's up to you."
I look at the captain.
Yeah.
And I'm brandishing my rapier like at his throat, kind of deal. Like, yeah.
She goes, "Huh. I like the spirit of you. You're always good from Bricktown. Don't worry about it. I'll sort the bastard myself." And she pulls what all of you except Oz, I would say, would recognize to be what would be an extremely expensive firearm, a flintlock pistol. I just points at the back of the man's head and pulls the trigger and just, yeah. The pistol explodes with a resounding bang and just a mist of red comes out of the front of the guy's head and as he just slams down to the deck. Just, oh, don't feel bad for him. He knew the stakes.
At the sound of the pistol going off, I think Oz would have let out quite a loud yelp. What the hell was that?
She turns around and she goes, "Oh, sorry about that. I didn't know, I'm not used to people from Krager. I've sailed there a couple of times, but never on the land myself. Sorry if you've never seen anything like that before."
Can you cast magic too?
Of a sort, yeah. We'll go with that. She turns
would
around and
Adrastus
just
have
looks at
seen
the
a
rest of you and
pistol?
goes, "It's easier to explain." Yeah, I would say that you certainly have. Especially
Okay,
with your
that's
family
fine.
connections. Your
Okay.
father probably owns one.
Okay, that's fine.
I just say I could have done that a lot cleaner. Now look at your poop deck.
My ship. You don't have to get blood on your hands on my ship. You've already fought to defend her. And for that, I'm grateful. I was not going to make you execute a prisoner. I mean, you're my guest, for goodness sake.
Well, that is very, very thoughtful. Thank you. I'll walk down the stairs towards Anne.
Alright, make me a medicine check while you do that.
She's dead.
Flails are lethal.
I rolled an unnatural 20.
Alright, in that case, you can see that the deckhand slumped to the wood next to her is not dead. He's still breathing. He's bleeding profusely from a wound in his chest, but he just seems to be unconscious, essentially. He is still breathing. You can see his chest rising and falling.
I'll yell up to anyone up top there, as well as our... can't remember where exactly this man's from. Sorry, the orange guy. What's his name?
Oh, you don't know his name, but he's from...
Qatari.
He's a Qatari, yes.
Qatari. I was going to say Karari.
You don't know his name, though.
No. I'll yell up to everyone, "Hey, this guy's still alive. I need some help here."
Hey.
I
Forget
kind of
about
turn
it.
around briskly and I kind of quickly run over there. I can lay on hands on him.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I will lay on hands, a point on him, so he's like living and stable.
Sure,
but
you
not,
see, you see the wound close up, by no means healed, but it's closed up and no longer actively bleeding, and his eyes just flutter open. He goes, "Oh, thank you, miss. I thought I was a goner. Bloody pirates."
You're gonna be all right.
Yeah, I've lived through worse. And he sort of laughs and nods down, and at this point you realize that he is missing one of his feet. He doesn't quite literally a peg leg on his right leg.
I
Nice.
love it.
He goes, "I'll live to fight another day. Thank you, miss." He just sort of props himself up a little bit more, but it's still just resting against the side.
I'd like to loot the body, please.
Of
see
Anne,
if there's
the leader.
anything of use, some contracts specifically I'm looking for.
Sure,
from-
make me a investigation check.
Hey, that's not bad. Investigation +1, so 18.
All right. In that case, as you rummage through her, do you have your inventory open? Because there's a few things.
Go ahead.
Okay, you find one healing potion on her. You also find an ornate dagger, which appears to be pearl inlaid and sort of with a silver hilt on it. but several pearls inlaid along the length of the handle. Looks quite expensive. Ornamental, perhaps an heirloom or so. And you find a folded up bit of paper. Would you like to read it? Yeah, there we go. Alright, so you unfold the paper. This was in the coat that she discarded, and as you do, you realize that actually it's part charred and the top part appears to be missing, but the bits that you can read out say...
Way to go, Craig.
Well done, Craig.
Classic Oz.
The bits that you can read say, complete. Preferably no injuries, certainly no fatalities. And then it's signed simply with CD. And the way it's written, it looks almost like a list of bullet points. Like, this is not a friendly letter. This is a list of instructions.
Hey, I think I found some type of contract. A little burned though.
What off it, eh?
Hey, I'm just saying it would be a little more useful. There might be more information on this if we just had the whole thing.
I think it's part of what he was saying earlier. I'm assuming it has to do with the person who, I guess, hired her.
Yeah, it definitely would be.
It's something we should hang on to and give to the headmasters or something. Maybe they can look into it. People shouldn't know we're here, so it's kind of bizarre that people know about the ship and know to attack it.
At this point, the large Qatari fighter appears to have finished sharpening and cleaning his axe again and walks down the staircase towards you and he goes, "You found something?"
Yeah, I found a contract. Looks like these were hired men.
Give Zar what you find. I look.
I'll hand it to him.
And he sort of looks
He's
at the bit of paper
very
and goes...
daunting looking. I'll definitely hand it to him.
He sort of looks at the paper and goes, ugh. Stupid. Why? Like this? And he's gesturing, and he appears to be pointing at the actual words and letters themselves. He goes, Zar makes no use of this. What does it tell you?
It's the best I can understand. It's a list, specific instructions. Definitely don't kill anybody, but mostly just take the ship. From what I can gather, but
These people try to take ship?
take the ship and everyone on it. Yeah.
They did pathetic job.
Now
You
that
are
we can
all
agree on.
also pathetic fighter. Except Catman. He did excellent fight. The rest of you, pathetic. But this,
I wasn't so bad.
you do not fight in true way. I have even less respect for you than girl who gets sword stuck in mast. And with this and a heavy scowl on his face, he walks through the middle of you, Coraline and Derek, and back towards the cabin, and sulks inside.
What a bastard.
Fucking
Nice.
savages.
I like him.
A little short for me, but hey, what can you do?
At this point, Oz, you realize that Moira's gone over to tending the wounded Qatari who is next to you on the staircase. And is
I didn't
patching
know.
her up. But she appears to be alive.
Well, that's good.
Can I wander over to the one of the deckhands here and see if he's alive?
He is very much... You don't even need to make a check for this. He is very much so dead. He has a very large, nasty wound to his neck. And there's no chance that he's surviving.
Yeah, I don't think this fella's going to make it, unfortunately.
That's a shame, that was. Each one of me crew at this point's been with me 5 or 6 years. That's a shame. Jerry was a good man, but I'll make sure his family's well looked after.
Moira, question for you.
Yes?
Has this ever happened before?
Only once. And then that was different. We had the son of a very important noble on the ship at that point, and I think it was politically motivated. It was from Daloth. I don't know anything about it, though. This is different, I think. They're getting braver, though, the pirates. They come closer to the island. Of course, they all know where it is, but they don't come within range of the defenses, but They come closer and they watch us. I don't know, it's strange times. I think Bricktown is changing more than anybody can really anticipate. And I think it's making people go to desperate measures to keep up.
Hey, anything for a buck, you know?
Hey, exactly, I ferry you lot to and from the town. I never really go inside the academy myself. I'm just a privateer, but anything for a buck.
So is it just like, would we know that it's like exclusively from Bricktown that they get ferried from, basically?
Yeah, so you were all brought from your home nations to Bricktown. Obviously,
Okay.
Derek, you're from Bricktown, but you were then given a time to essentially board your ship. And you
Okay.
boarded alongside this Qatari group,
Yeah.
who are the other four that are on the ship. However, you only saw 2 of them outside fighting.
Okay. I mean, Captain, Privateer, whatever you said your title was.
I'm a captain of the ship.
Would it not be feasible to surmise that these people could know that there's quite a lot of money here, and therefore, if they just wait until you set out, then surely that would be the time?
I mean, do you have a lot of money on you?
I mean, no, not me personally.
Well, neither do I, so...
I pat my pockets.
I think it's less about the money and more about who's on the ship.
We were clearly the targets.
They wanted
Oh,
to
eh?
keep us alive.
What makes you say that?
Well, who else would it be?
But what makes you think they wanted you alive?
A lot of the people who get sent to this academy are often nobles or people of repute. Why not get people... I'm assuming we would be worth quite a bit to some certain people.
I'd imagine so, but they kind of forget that you give up all of that lot when you go there. I don't know, I'm not sure what they're after.
Did the large gentleman give me back the piece of paper? Like, I read it to him, but
Yeah, he handed you the paperback, yeah.
Probably
Myra,
can't even
I
read.
got this note off the leader. The pirate was saying this is what she had on her. Make any heads or tails of the front half of it?
Seems like they didn't want to kill you. Also explains why they might have been reluctant to properly fight your Qatari friend. I think his name's Zar. But yeah, they obviously had no qualms killing my lot. So yeah, it looks like you lots were what they wanted.
Well, I don't think there's much we can do now, provided we make it safely, hopefully, to our destination.
I will be safe. There's nothing around us, and we're only a few hours out anyway. I suggest y'all get some rest and try to sleep off the night's excursion before we arrive. I'll see to the mess up here, and don't worry about that. Me and Sammy can crew the ship just as the 2 of us.
Sammy and Ginny. I love it.
Jerry.
Jerry, Jesus, I'm sorry. You just died. I apologize.
All right.
He doesn't care anymore, it's fine.
Yeah, all right. I'll head to bed, and I'll start walking back towards the quarters.
Alright. So you all, I assume you all head back, or would any of you have other business?
Nah, just head back.
No.
Alright, so you all head back down under cabin and drift off to sleep quite easily, actually. You're really quite exhausted from the night's events, essentially. But eventually you awake, and it's a much calmer sea. The storm has died down, and in fact, you slowly realize as you all arouse from your sleep that the ship isn't moving at all anymore. In fact, you are in port, it would seem. Other than that, it's quite a peaceful morning. You can hear the chattering outside of what appears to be a smallish harbor. And yeah, other than that, you can't see much outside the portholes of your cabin. What would you all like to do?
Are we
Yeah,
all?
let's
Are we
go,
all?
let's
Yeah,
go.
we're all in the same cabin.
Yeah, you're all sharing a cabin. The Qataris are
Okay.
in an opposite cabin.
Okay.
You're not with them.
Oh, God.
I'd just be up and flying out the door.
As soon as you fly out the
He
door.
He seems quite ambitious.
He's an energetic one for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, as Oz sort of anime runs out the door and onto the deck of the ship.
Naruto runs at Area 51.
Oz, you're met with the sight of Zar and the 2 other Qatari fighters who you'd briefly seen, but they're actually joined by a 4th person who appears to be a small goblin in sort of red leathers and looking a little bit unsure, and he has his hood up, but you see these large green ears pointing out of the front, bent forwards. The hood clearly wasn't meant for a goblin to wear. And you see them all standing around, except this small goblin who's sort of standing off, trying to look, even for his diminutive stature, as small as possible in the corner of the deck, while the Qataris talk in their native tongue between them.
I would just move to the rail and stand out and look. I mean, what do I see outside of this small harbor?
So you see the gangplank being added to the ship, and it's just quite a dreary sort of coastal harbor. I mean, you can see these huge cliffs in the distance, but for now you're in sort of like a little inlet with a harbor town set into it that appears to service the Silver Island, because to every other direction is nothing but the sea. You can see people going around their business. You know, there's carts, and there seems to be a few sort of smithies and craftsmen on the edge of the harbor. You'd estimate there's probably about 10 or 15 large buildings in this town. It appears to be a tradesman's port, if anything, for the island.
Okay. I guess I would turn. Sorry.
No, after go.
All right. I would say I would turn to the Qataris and just say to them,
Where's the academy?
Zar looks over and he goes, "It is funny lizard man from last night. Glad to see you made it through the night with any more spooky pirates coming to get you." And at this, the two Qatari next to him kind of laugh along in a very sort of yes man way. Like, "Ha ha ha! Good one, Zar." And he goes, "Where is academy? Pff, academy is through mountain pass. We must climb to reach. This town, I do not know name, but unimportant. I wait for transport."
And I just turn back to looking out and go,
Bloody savages.
under my breath.
Oh,
I would say that quietly. I say that
make a sleight of hand check, Craig.
Oh, fuck
And
me.
Craig instantly dies.
9. It's a 9.
To be fair, I was thinking that earlier as well.
You just hear, "Huh, savages. Okay. And he turns back around and starts talking to the others in Qatari.
I think I'd walk up to Zara and just be, "Zara, it was a pleasure fighting alongside you last night."
As you emerge from the cabin and go up and say that, he just looks over his shoulder towards you and goes, "Oh, Catman, I did not
Catman,
recognize
yes.
you not as Cat. We have many Craig Cat like you in Qatari steppes. I hunt them for fun." He sort of
Well,
stares at you.
Well, let's just say that I might not always be a crag cat. Then I just kind of turn around.
Okay. He goes back to talking to his friend.
I'm just gonna wait until we kind of like are allowed to leave, I guess, or on board.
Okay, so you guys just making it up onto the deck as well. Yeah, the gangplank's very much so laid down, and you appear to be able to disembark. There's no sign of Moira at the moment. You have no idea where she is, but for all intents and purposes, you are free to leave the ship.
I would turn to some of the others and just say, "Who's that? Have we seen him before?" Pointing towards the wee goblin.
As you do this, you just hear a slight coming from the goblin.
Who are you?
And he looks up at the Qatari, who are still just completely in their own conversation, and he kind of sidles around them towards you guys and goes, "I'm Zappo. I was put in a squad with them. Do you know if we can change squads?"
I don't know if squads are assigned Zappo, but maybe.
"Well,
Maybe
I
so."
was told to meet them. And he just looks over them again, looks up at you lot, it's just like, I think these might be our squads. They said that I was assigned to them because they didn't have any, non-Qatari-like people. And, Zappo has to be with them. So,
I mean,
yeah.
maybe if you ask our fine, scaly companion here, if he'd want to switch.
No,
Would you like to switch?
no. It's one green skin per group, so I've been assigned to you. You know, we can't switch, so sorry.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yes.
Oh, I miss Scroxland already. People are much nicer there.
Come on, Zappo.
I'm gonna go and find someone to ask about changing. He just kind of runs down the gangplank and just continues into the town and eventually fades from sight. You can just see his ears poking out of his hood, charging away.
Did we ever get each other's names during the previous night? Would we know each other's names at this point?
If you introduce each other, yes, perhaps not though. I mean, it was your first night of traveling. You may have just crashed.
Okay.
So, Zappo, was it? He said these are our squads. So that means I'm with you guys?
I was never told that I was assigned a squad yet. I don't know.
That's what I mean. Neither was I, but I don't know. I'm just listening to the little goblin fellow.
Well, I guess if we bunk together, then we're training and learning and grouped together, I guess.
So we're a squad, I guess. For now, anyway.
Would certainly appear that way.
Well, I don't like walking alone anyway, so I'll walk with you guys.
Well, considering how last night went, I'd say we're probably okay at least to survive together for a while.
The name's Derek.
My name is Coraline.
Well, I'm Ozovax Croxel, but you can just call me Oz.
I'm glad, because I wouldn't call you whatever you just said.
Ozovax.
And the name's Adrastus, and I kind of just do a little bow with a flourish. It's a pleasure to meet everyone.
At this point, it becomes evident that a sort of a carriage being pulled by two large horses is trotting up to the pier that the ship is docked at. Eventually, it stops just at the edge of the pier, and out of it, a character in large, resplendent plate armor. He looks so ridiculously over the top and out of place appears out of the carriage, and you get his first look at him, and he's got sort of brown hair, just slightly long and tousled, but just combed backwards, and a great shining silver two-handed axe rests on his back, and his plate armor stands out. It's obviously impeccably made and engraved with golds and silvers, and he has a long, flowing golden cape behind him below the axe, and he starts striding down the pier, and you would never imagine it from somebody so heavily armored, but he appears to walk with almost like a cheerful bounce in his step. He looks as though he's more likely to be skipping through a meadow than walking in full plate, but he's quite clearly striding towards the ship, and every now and again you can see just a flash of red behind him as it appears that Zappo is clinging to his ankles, essentially, right behind him. And eventually he strides all the way up to the gangplank and goes, "Ah! I see that you've made it to Silver Island. Welcome, and you've met your squads. Fantastic. Well, and Zappo, who... Zappo, it sort of shakes his leg a little bit, and Zappo makes his way back up the gangplank. He goes, "Ah, there we go. 2 complete squads. Excellent. Welcome to Silver Island. How are you all on this fine day?"
I'm excited.
Good. I like that. Excited. We all excited? And the Qatari just scowling at him. And you see him almost like deliberately not acknowledge it and just beam this grin towards their way.
Yeah, I'm doing better than I was yesterday.
Wonderful. I hear you had a little bit of a scuffle on the way here. Saw off some pirates, did you?
Yeah, same old some days.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. You'll fit in properly here, then. Anyway, introductions are in order, I suppose. My name is Marshal Harto, and I'm one of the 2 Grand Marshals here at the Academy. You'll meet my far less attractive counterpart later on. However, I shall be in charge of the Golden Sons, those of us who prefer to fight in a more martial manner, which will include you 3, he gestures at the Qatari, and I believe that's Derek and Coraline. Now, of course, you're Coraline. Which one of you is Derek?
That'd be me.
Wonderful. You 2 shall be under my retinue. However, the others shall meet their unfortunate marshal later on. But I'm here to welcome you all nonetheless. We'll all serve together, no matter which legion you're in. The other, of course, being the Red Moons, by the way, led up by Marshal Qatar. I jest, but she is a wonderful marshal. You'll have a great time. Not as great as my lot, but we'll see. Anyway, would you like to get acquainted with the town here? We simply call it Silverstadt. Would you like to get acquainted, or would you like to make your way to the academy? I imagine you may all be quite famished and slightly worn out.
Yeah.
What? I'd like to go to the academy.
All right, we've got one for the academy.
I'd like to see the town, you know? Maybe there's a drinking spot. Maybe we can get a nice brew, you know?
Ah, there certainly is. Certainly is. I'm never in there myself, of course, not a professional. Now, I do recommend you get acquainted with the town before we make our way. You can get a carriage at any point from the town, from the academy if you really want. Anybody will run you up there, they know who you are. Oh, actually, no they don't. Speaking of which, and he reaches into this side satchel that he has and pulls out 4 brooches, like cloak clasps, all in the shape of a circle with a singular black sword going through the middle of it. He goes, well, you've signed your oaths, so you're in it now, aren't you? Welcome to the Blackblades, I guess. Although don't call them that, call them the Sentinels around Qatar. She hates it when people call us that. Anyway, wear these and wear them with pride. They'll see you right. And he just holds 4 out towards you and 4 out towards the Qatari and Zappo.
I'll reach around and go, ooh, and affix it somewhere to my robe.
Yes. Wear these at all times. They'll get you in trouble, but they'll also protect you just as much. And it's good for people to know who you are. Anyway, make yourselves at home, I guess. Welcome to Silverstadt. The academy is simply a 15-minute carriage ride away. You can get all sorts of carriages from outside the tavern here. The tavern, of course, is, well, it's a hearty place. Not too bad, really. Don't go Thursday nights, that's the quiz. But other than that, it's good. Any questions?
Who do we report to when we get to the academy?
Well, sorry, I didn't get your name. I've got the manifest somewhere, but I can't bother to dig it out.
I'm Ozovax Croxel, but you can call me Oz.
Wonderful, Oz. You'll be reporting to Qatar when you get there, but don't worry, we'll hold an assembly to greet you all later this evening. Until then, and you judge it's around midday, it's hard to tell at the moment. Until then, really, just do what you want. I would say you can go to the academy straight away. Of course you can, should you wish to, but really, there's bugger all to do there, unless you're into push-ups or, you know, training, which, So, well, I'll see you all this evening for the welcoming assembly. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Have a good day.
Do any of you have any money?
I've got a few gold pieces.
Question.
I imagine, do I have any money on me?
You'd have your starting gold.
I was gonna say, okay, yeah, then I have a little bit.
Yeah, I've got a starting gold and that's it.
Alright, well, you'll receive your stipend while you're at the academy. If you don't need it now, I'll give it to you later. So, well, see you later then. What about you lot? And the Qatari leader, Zar, kind of looks up and just goes, we will see town. Come academy later. And Zappa goes, I'd like to... And at this point, you just see Zar just, like, swat him on the head. He's like,
Oh, no.
later. We see you later. He
I
goes,
feel so bad for Zappo.
all right then, wonderful. He starts trotting back to his carriage.
Well, I guess we got the entire day until we have to go back to the academy for the ceremony.
First episode shopping episode.
I mean, with your few gold, you can go get some horseshoes or something if you want.
I mean, we can go look around town, kind of get the, like, look at things and then head up maybe later.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking for a drink at the moment.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I think I would join
I'll
you
let
in
you
that,
the other
Derek.
Yeah, I'm gonna head off in just the direction that looks away from the boat.
All right, so you guys are walking down the pier into the town. It's a very simple town. It's like one road with a couple of offshoots later on, but very visibly, there's almost like a crossroad in the middle where these two roads split off, and on the corner of that, you can see some sort of tavern or saloon. It's obviously a gathering point, and it's one of the most built-up buildings in the small town itself.
I would head in.
All right, well, you walk your way there through the town, and as you near it, you can just start seeing the sign. It's called the Silver Flagon. And yeah, it looks like a fairly nice establishment. Relatively quiet at this time of the day, of course. It's around, like early midday, if you had to guess, and townspeople are sort of milling about, but it's mostly work-related things. You see people pushing carts full of raw materials. One thing you notice is that there doesn't really appear to be any sort of agricultural activity that you might be used to seeing in the cities. This seems to be mostly tradesmen and smiths, essentially. You see a lot of metalworking, a lot of craftsmanship going on.
So maybe we go in.
Yeah,
Yes.
I go in.
Yeah.
All right, so you make your way inside the Silver Flagon, and it's pretty nice in here, actually. It's just sort of your standard tavern-like affair. It's a round semicircle bar, and behind it there's a sort of graying man with a short beard just doing the classic bartender in an RPG. He's just got a flagon in one hand and a towel in the other, and he's just cleaning away. It's the most
Clearing out the bases.
Yep, it's the most polished cup in the world. I've been waiting for people to come in, but there's a couple of obviously like the old regular types in there just sitting at the bar staring at pints of IPA, but for the most part, yeah, it's a quiet, pleasant pub.
Didn't realize Brewdog had a D&D hold now.
This is Green King pub actually, Scott, so
Sorry.
way less nice.
I think I just walk up and say, barkeep, a round of ales, please.
What's an ale?
Yeah, I'm good.
No? I just kind of look at Carl. No? You sure?
It wouldn't. It's not really proper.
Hey, don't worry, I'll drink yours. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay. Oz, just close your nose. Yeah, close your nose and just drink up. So yeah, four ales, please.
How many do you... Am I getting 4 ales? Do you want 4 ales? He looks towards the rest of you deliberately. He's like, am I getting you 4 ales?
What are the
Yes.
options?
I guess.
I mean, what drink would you like? We're quite a well-equipped tavern as well. We got all sorts. We got wines from Cala Twist. We got Astrian fire drinks. We got all sorts. What would you like?
I don't know what any of those are. What's made from fermented vegetables or fruit?
Oh, we got some. I think some Kroger spirits. We got some of your
Oh, that'd be nice.
fine beverages. Yeah, would you like the? I think we've got a green root blend on at the moment. Fermented for a couple of years in Kroger, and then they ship it here.
Well, I'll have one of those.
All right. So he gets out a sort of weirdly metallic-looking flask. It's like a pewter flask, and pulls a cork out of it and pours what would be little more than a shot measure, really, of this viscous-looking green liquid. And he puts it down in front of Oz. He goes, "Right, one green root blend. What else can I get you?"
Coraline, would a wine be more appropriate for yourself?
No, I don't drink. It's not really, proper from where I'm from, so, I'm good. But
Listen,
you can have a drink for me.
people from all over the world come here, love, and let me tell you, drinking's pretty proper everywhere. After what they go through, at least, so...
I have a strict household, or had...
Alright, one water, extra tap.
Yeah, sure.
What can I get the other two?
Derek, what would you like, my man?
I'll just take an ale. It's no biggie.
And
Alright.
An ale for myself as well, good sir.
Alright. 2 Island ales coming up. And he pulls them out of the drafts, taking way longer than necessary, but eventually puts down 2 very nice looking pints of beer in front of you two, and even gets some ice for your water, Caroline. He goes, "You lot new on the island here?
Brand new.
Brand new to the academy? You haven't been up to the academy yet?
No. I wanted to go, but they wanted to come here.
Well, first round's on the house in that case.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. Second round's not, though." And he goes back to shuffling glasses and cleaning around the bar.
I grab my ale and try to find a seat to sit down.
As you do that, Derek, make me a perception check.
Well, hey,
Your ale is spiked.
it's got alcohol in it. So. What is 16 plus 2? 18.
Alright, as you do that, you just avoid having to make a dexterity check and falling over, because as you're about to take a step backwards, you realize that there's a small red-robed goblin standing directly behind you.
Whoa! Zappo! Whoa, whoa, whoa! What are you...
Hi. I was
Don't
here
sneak
the
up on
whole
me like
time. They weren't looking, so I ran off.
I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Well, I'll go to the academy later. I'm just not hanging out with them now.
Well, the ale's free for the first time, so get it while it's good.
Maybe you need a bit of liquid courage, Zappo.
Alright, he kind of clambers up on all of the chair and goes, "Excuse me, barkeep, have you got any drinks from Groxland?" He kind of looks around his side and goes, "Yep, I got what qualifies as a drink in Groxland. Yeah, I'll have one of those." And you see him pour out this. It's just a indescribably watery, grey-looking liquid into a half-pint glass and puts it in front of Zappo. He goes, "Oh, this looks lovely. You got the good stuff. Thanks." He just starts sipping the top of it incredibly annoyingly. He doesn't even pick up his drink. He's just right off the top. That's all. It's lovely.
So Zappo,
Yeah.
so how were you chosen to come to the academy?
Well, Zappo's not my real name, you see. It's a bit of a name that was given to me. Because I'm not really very good at controlling it, but I'm quite good at, you know. And he kind of like makes a weak gesture with his hands. He's like, zap, 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 you know. I don't like even pretending because sometimes it happens and I get in trouble.
Okay, fair enough.
You know, I had it in my head, I bet this guy zaps. But now that you say it, that just makes it that much better.
Yeah, it's I'm pretty good at it. I mean, I don't really do it that deliberately very often, but they think that if I can get it under control, then I'll be an amazing wizard.
Well,
Yes,
maybe-
I'm sure you will. Yes, sir. Yes.
It's quite unusual because Groxland doesn't really, you know, we're not really wizards that often, but yeah, apparently I am, so I was alright. And then they sent me here.
Maybe.
It's interesting. But I'm gonna, and I say that as I'm kind of casually steering everyone away from Zappo. And it's like, well, best of luck, Zappo. But well, we're a squad. We've got to get to know one another. So.
Alright, well, I'll just be here.
Yeah. See you at the academy.
He just goes back to sipping the top of his drink.
I'm assuming, just to paint a picture, his feet are just like dangling over the edge of a stool as he's sipping his drink.
Yeah, he's very small even for a goblin. He's probably standing at about 3 feet tall.
Okay.
And his robe actually just looks like it's sort of the top half of a normal robe, and he's wearing it as a full robe.
That's
That
awesome.
would also explain the non-goblin friendly hood that he's wearing.
Why doesn't he just cut holes in it? I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, I guess we
Wears
find
like a
a
mask.
or something.
Alright, so you guys just pull up a table and sit and drink there, I imagine?
Yeah.
So, where are you guys all from? I mean, I kind of assume I know where Oz is from, but
Take a guess. Go on, take a guess.
is it Krugland?
It is.
Krugland? Oh,
Not Krugland. It's Krugger.
Krugger.
I
I
like
forget.
Krugland. We should rename it.
No, we shouldn't.
Krugger. And what about you two?
After you, Derek.
I'm from Copeland. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how you say it, Connor.
Copeland.
Copeland. I'm from Copeland.
Gotcha.
Did you
From
say?
Brooklyn.
Did you say it's Uskia or Usher, Connor?
Uskia.
Uskia. And I'm from Uskia. And what about yourself, Coraline?
I'm from Albia, Kingdom of Albia. I mean, evidently, kind of, I guess.
I think I'll just kind of roll my eyes and then look into my drink and just take a big swig.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, what does that mean? What's the problem?
People have a very varied opinion about Albia, I guess.
I've heard it's quite nice.
It is very nice, but also people don't like when other people have nice things.
I'll when we get to the academy, Oz, I'll point you in the direction of a history book, and you can see.
Oh, a bunch of arseholes, are they?
It's all about perspective, Oz.
I see.
So, Oz, do you not know anything about any other place besides?
Well, I know the names of places and a vague idea of the races that live there, but, well, I don't get out much of Kruger, as you can imagine.
Fair enough.
It's not a sheltered existence, that's not what I'm saying, but, well, you know, there's not great tomes of history for me to read, that sort of thing.
Speaking of Oz, I don't mean to offend, but I've never seen anyone from Kruger, and I do have to ask the question just so I don't get confused in the future. Are you a boy or a girl?
That is a deeply insulting question.
I know of the culture, I know of the peoples, but I've never met one before.
How can you phrase that without me taking any offense?
I can't. That's why I want to get it out of the way now.
Look at the scales. Look at the coloring. I'm clearly a male.
And there we go. And now I have more education. Thank you, Oz.
I just turn to Coraline and go, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Did you two know?
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna lie my ass off.
Of course.
Thank you.
After seeing the heat that you went through, I'm like, yeah, of course. Yep.
Quite.
Poor Oz, man.
Poor Oz.
So why were you guys? I mean, if you guys don't mind me asking, so why were you guys chosen, or how did you guys get chosen to come here?
Well, I guess I'll go first. Well, I was born with innate magical talent, and it's not an uncommon thing for us lizard folk. But, well, they didn't really understand my talents exactly, and I think they're more like your lot. And I nod towards Adrastus. They didn't really know what to do with me, I think. So they just bundled me off because, well, I had some of them say they thought I was touched by the gods, but I don't know about that.
Isn't that how you become the leader, the On Creek?
Oh, the High Priest? Well, I'm not sure exactly how that, the political, we don't have, a ballot system or parties campaigning for election or anything like that. I think it's something to do with rising through the ranks, but I couldn't tell you. It didn't hold much interest for me in politics.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll look over to the others.
My story's pretty easy. Best of my class. What can I say? They voted me in.
Class of what?
Better not to ask,
Why not?
I left it for different reasons. I really didn't want to be there anymore, and we got figured it.
I don't. What did that mean?
Listen, we all come here for the same reason, right? Protect for something, get away from something. It doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it.
What?
I don't understand.
At the end of the day, we've all signed away any claim to houses or nobility, so the reasonings don't really matter why we're here. All that matters is we're here.
Let's just say I have some pull up the mast. I used to not be
Pull up the mast.
pull up the mast. Yeah, you're welcome for that one. Yeah, my dad owns a lot of land, and he's got some pull in the place. He's in Copland.
So what you're saying is you're not actually talented, and that you were just sent here because your dad's rich.
Yeah, you pretty much got it on the head there. Yeah. But guess what? I'm in your squad, so get ready.
For what?
I don't say anything.
Oh. And I look over to Adrastus, and I kind of curiously look at him because the elven features, and I'm like,
I don't have elven features.
You're not Elven? Oh, okay, sorry.
No.
I thought you were.
No. I just kind of look at you and just I just nod. I'm like, ladies first.
Well, okay. As I said, I'm from Albia, and well, I was sent here because, well, many of the nobles in Albia typically have a hard time sending people because when they get sent, they lose, titles of their land and whatnot, and titles and land and stuff like that is very, very important in Albia. And well, I didn't have a title and or land and or things, so it was easy for them to pick me to send me. So
You're a misfit.
a little bit, yeah, kind of, I guess. So I was chosen because, yeah, I was the easier choice than the other kids, I guess.
So you're not here on any sort of personal merit, or because you have any sort of promise or innate power or anything like that, just because it was convenient.
I mean, I guess Albia is very.
Has Oz finished his drink at this point?
I don't know. Have you finished your drink?
I probably would have sipped it enough
Okay.
to finish it, I guess.
Okay.
The noble families tend to send their best, but usually not their absolute best. So it's nothing that's uncommon in Albia, I guess, if that makes sense.
I don't like that. That seems to be a waste. What about someone who isn't a noble but is good? You know, not everyone has to be born into a position.
Well, I am a noble, just not the noblest of nobles. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
As if she's a noble light.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I'm here to do good, so I guess it helps.
How about you, Adrastus? Did you win your place here in a contest or something?
No, actually. I may have actually got in under your very high grading standards, as apparently it seems after one drink. You show a little bit of aptitude for accidentally turning into an animal on a hunt, and next thing you know, you're bundled to a secret order, which isn't so secret because it is actually one of the nations. And study there for 5 years. Hope you're going to go home, and next thing you know, you're being told that you're going on a boat, and that's that. And here we are.
Well, I'm not going to say it, but we do sound like a, pardon my French, but fucking band of misfits.
Maybe you lot do.
Speak for yourself. I was looking forward to going back home.
At this point, the tavern door swings open, and you can see the imposing figure of Zar standing there with his two cronies on either side. And he storms and he goes, "Ah, there is stupid little explosive goblin. Come, little one. We will teach you what happens if you run away." And he starts striding towards Zappo, who appears to be trying to shift backwards off his chair, but is quickly grabbed by the collar and lifted up. And Zar starts striding towards the door and throws him out the door. And you can hear Zappo yelling outside.
I hate that guy. He's not nice, is he?
I get up from my chair
Alright,
and I walk towards the outside.
okay,
Like I follow them, kind of thing.
alright.
I go,
Are you the only one going?
Well, I guess if I see Coraline going, then I would follow.
Alright.
I think I would kind of slam my drink down and just kind of sigh and then get up. Just be like,
Alright, so Coraline, as you lead the party out, you get outside and you're in the square now where there's a beautiful fountain depicting some sort of sentinel that you don't quite recognize yet in the middle, and they've thrown Zappo up against it, and you can actually see him sat on the ground bleeding a little bit from his nose as the three tower over him. But as you come out, Zar turns back towards you and he goes, "Oh? And why you follow Zar?"
oh, I thought you could pick on somebody your own size, Czar.
Well, that's all the invitation Zar needs. And I'd like you all to roll initiative, please.
Oh, God.
before this all starts, can you just, Adrastus just goes, "Bloody Albions."
Yes, however, before we do the battle and roll initiative and everything, why don't we take a quick break so people can go to the loo and stuff. In that case, who's up first? Oh, Zara's up first. You guys really didn't roll well, did you? Okay, so Zar is gonna just heave his axe up out of his shoulder holster and charge towards you, Coraline, and go in with a massive horizontal swing for a 19 overall.
Oh, that hits.
Okay, and that is gonna be for... Oh, that's a nasty roll. That's a 12 points of bludgeoning damage, as you realize that his axe isn't even sharp enough to cut. It is just a monumental weight smashing into your armor, and it completely knocks the wind out of you. Alright, and then it is going to be Zappo's turn. Zappo just sort of looks at the ongoing scuffle and goes, "Oh, make them go away!" and runs and hides behind the other side of the fountain, and then passes his turn to... Actually, you don't know their name yet. To the female member of the Qatari group, who is going to move... How far is this? Yeah, going to move out towards the side of the square, and is holding a sling, which she starts spinning up, and she's going to let loose a stone at you, Derek. And that is going to be a... so it's a 13 to hit.
Ooh, just miss.
Okay, so you see the stone just go overhead, and you feel the air against your face, but no direct hit. Adrastus, you're up.
I kind of yell, "Zappo, you better start helping!" And then use a bonus action and turn into a direwolf.
Alright.
Just give me the ninja.
Tring.
And then I'm going to move up beside Coraline and attempt to bite Zar.
Okay, make your attack.
So that is a 13 to hit.
13 does hit. Roll your damage.
Okay. 2d6 plus 3
Bet
piercing,
you
and I
haven't hunted
get
direwolves, Zar.
advantage because I've got
Attack tactics? Yep.
Yeah. So that's a
Nice.
Well, you would roll your to hit again, in that case.
Oh yeah, okay, never mind then. That's fine. So
No, you
2d6.
should roll it because you might get a crit on your advantage.
Oh, okay, right, that's fine. I'll roll it.
Nat 20.
Advantage.
No, it just goes up to 23. So,
But you certainly hit, yes.
yeah. So 2d6 plus 3. So that is 4 plus 3. That's 7.
Okay.
And 9. So that's 16 in total.
All right, so towards the tail end of his swing on Coraline, you just jump up and grab his forearm, and you can see you just rend the flesh of his forearm off. But instead of even crying out in pain, he just looks down and goes, "Huh, now I get to hunt puny wolfman." Excellent. But you can see that that is a nasty blow that you've inflicted upon him.
Okay.
All right. And it is the turn of the younger male member of the Qatari, whose name you also don't know yet. And he is going to run up wielding 2 short swords and make an attack down at you, Adrastus. And the first one is a 14 to hit,
That hits.
and the second one is a 19.
Yep, both hit.
Okay, and you take a grand total of... Wow, these rolls are killer. You take a grand total of 12 slashing damage as both of his swords just rake down into your hide.
Okay.
All right. Derek, you're up.
I'm going to run up and seeing that Adrasmus just got raked, literally. I'm going to take a stab, trying to find a spot underneath this man's, I assume, hide armor.
Yeah, they have sort of like a mixture of hide with very small, scrappy pieces of chain woven in. It's very much so makeshift armor.
I have rolled higher than a 10. Look at me go.
Oh my goodness, you might hit him.
Is 18,
That certainly hits.
and I get bonus sneak attack damage
You
because
do.
I have someone within 5 feet of me.
Oh,
my
John!
god!
Hey.
First sneak
Oh, that's
attack.
actually not bad.
What
So
he
that's,
did.
that's 7 piercing damage and 5 sneak attack bonus.
Ooh, alright, so you plunge your dagger into the ribs of this opponent, and it is a deep wound, and you can see it is bleeding profusely. And he
Rapier.
staggers back. Sorry, yes, your rapier. And he staggers back and is looking like he's a little bit woozy from that blow. It's really kind of stunned him as well as inflicting grievous damage. Anything else?
And that's it for me.
Alright, Coraline, you're up. You're muted as well.
Sorry, I had to
Hey,
this
it
done.
had to happen at least once an episode.
Yeah, I know. All right, Zara, you're gonna get it. I rolled a 14.
Yeah, 14 hits, yeah.
Sweet. And I'm going to divine smite Zar.
Oh my god.
By the
Okay.
holy light.
Because I am going to protect Zappo. He's a good, kind soul.
We don't know that.
And
He could be evil.
He could. He certainly could.
I don't think so.
Just because he's meek doesn't mean that he's. Anyway, don't worry
So
about it.
we're gonna do that. Whoop. So that's 10 plus 21 damage.
Ow.
I
Okay.
max rolled my first die, and then
well,
I got
and you're
five.
doing that with Divine Smite, right?
Eh.
Okay, in that case, you swing your flail overhead at Zar, and it connects just as he's turning in sort of the crook of his neck, and you see the flash of light emanate out, as it is obvious that the force of the blow just cracks his spine in two, and he drops dead to the floor.
I didn't mean to kill him.
At this point, the other two Qatari fighters drop their weapons and just stare open-mouthed at you.
Well, that was easy.
What would you like to do?
Crap.
It's at this point that I'll reveal that when you drop into 0, I was going to ask if you would attack non-lethally or lethally, but with Divine Smite, you can't do that.
I mean, you know,
Coraline, I didn't know we were gonna kill him. I thought we were just gonna rough him up.
I didn't mean to. I just wanted to hit him really bad. He hurt Zappo, and I kind of got a little into it. I'm sorry.
You just said, "Oh, that's good. That's good. Thanks."
Oh man. I look to
Can
the
I-
others.
Oz,
No, I
you're
kind
up.
I'll just like pad over and just like knock the two short swords, the two short swords
Yep.
that this one had, just like behind me, heading towards.
Yeah,
Oz.
he kind of just slowly paces back as you do that.
All right. So I'll turn to the two and say, "You surrendering?"
Yes.
Yes.
They just drop their stuff and the guy goes, "We don't want any trouble like that. Your friend is crazy," and they start to run off.
I can't imagine this ever coming back to haunt us.
Will take us out of combat at this point, but you can still take actions and stuff.
I'll turn back into human.
He's like way too far gone too. Like he's dead.
Oh, he is like, yeah, like his upper part of his body is at an angle like that. Like you broke this guy's neck and spine and probably several other bones in his body with that blow.
You may or may not have smited him. to
Your
death.
level 2 hit a dude for 21 damage.
After I bit him for 16.
Yeah, I was like, oh, Scott did a lot of damage, but he'll probably be okay. He was on 19, by the way.
I was
21.
like kind of upset that he was hurting Zappo.
Well, yeah, at this point, Zappo kind of sneaks down, jogs up to you and looks down at Zar and goes, "Oh, thanks. This is brilliant."
Maybe you'll get a new squad now,
He just goes,
Zappo.
yeah, he goes, "Can't be in your squad now, can I?" And he just kicks Zar's body on the ground. He goes, "Sorry, that was probably a bit morbid, but it was a whole journey of that."
Oh man.
Hey, it's eat or be eaten.
Yeah, what are you going to do now, though? I'm not sure you really meant to kill each other here.
What we do is allow Coraline to explain to Marshal Harto about what's just happened here.
Yeah, I can't
Look
wait
at
to be in the
Coraline,
same mood
yeah.
for that.
At this point, footsteps appear behind you, Oz, I would say you'd notice, coming out of the building to the north of you, which is the tavern. And it's the barkeeper still holding his flagon and a towel. And he's rubbing it, and he walks out and he just looks at you and goes, "Is one of them dead?
Yes.
Why'd you do that?"
It wasn't me. Ask
Who was
her.
it?
It was her. Can you believe it? She wouldn't have a wee nip of sherry, but she's having to cave some guy's bloody skull in.
Oh no, it wasn't on purpose.
Oz, make me a perception check.
Perception check. Okay.
Derek is literally laughing.
That is.
That was the greatest thing ever.
13 for perception.
Okay, I'd say with a 13 is just enough. You can, as you're sort of attracted to the motion of his hands cleaning this glass down by his waist, you notice that his sort of pinny is pinned onto his waist with the same brooch that you're wearing, a single sword in a circle.
Oh. Well, I don't. I mean, what do you make of that? Has this ever happened before?
It's happened before. I'm not going to say it's common, but it's happened before. What actually happened? I saw that big one coming, but he was gone by the time I turned around.
Well, they were being, well, quite horrid to the little goblin there. And, well, when we came out to tell them to stop, they attacked us first. You can add that to the record. They attacked us first. And, well, I think Coraline might have got a bit overzealous, and, well, you can see the results of that.
As much as I don't like to admit it, Oz is right.
While he's walking up to the body while you're all saying this to him, so get your excuses in now as he's slowly approaching Zar's body and Coraline.
Well, I didn't do anything.
Okay, so the bite marks, they were me. I'll fully level with you, but I was not the one who broke his spine in several places.
Like I said, he could have killed Zappo for all we know. He was about to, like, beat this guy up. I was just trying to protect him, and I may have hit him a little too hard.
It seems like all your words just bounce off him as he kneels down next to the body and puts his hand around the impact crater, we'll say, for a moment. Then he looks up at you, Coraline, and goes, "You're divine, aren't you? I've seen hits like this before."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't hit normal people like that unless you want to kill them. I saw how he came in, though. I believe you lot when you say that he attacked you.
Honestly, he's been pestering us and pestering the poor goblin guy over there the entire time we've been on the boat until we got here.
To be fair, pestering isn't exactly a crime. You know, I'd be the first to say Zar's quite an arsehole. He was quite. I certainly don't like him, but I wouldn't have done that.
Well, me neither. But like, come on, you swing a little hard, things go the wrong way, you fall, you trip. Hey, that's.
It's not the same.
If you're gonna prey on the weak and the helpless, at some point it's gonna catch up with you.
Well, I suppose we can.
Good justification.
It has rid the academy of his sort.
Yeah, he wouldn't have lasted there anyway. Alright, well, I'll write a note to Marshal Hardo, but you're gonna have fun explaining this one yourselves. I did see how he came in, though, so you've got that on your side. Just don't let this put you off the Qatari. They're actually some of our best sentinels as well. I should know, I was one for 30 years, but looks like this one was just a prick. Alright.
I'd imagine, Zappo, you'd speak on Coraline's behalf as well, wouldn't you?
And he kind of looks at me and goes, "Oh yeah, I mean, he threw me into a fountain." He sort of points to his, like, obviously very large, now broken nose. He goes, "It bloody hurt."
I'm not really sure what we do now. Do we wait for Hardo to come, or do we...
The innkeeper looks at me and goes, "I'll get the guards, and I'll write a note. I suggest you all wait in the tavern while, Hardo comes down. I think that's probably the best thing to do."
So, Coraline, how about that drink, eh?
I kind of just, like, walk away all, like...
As we're kind of walking towards the tavern, I'm like, I mean, it's not exactly proper to kill a man in broad daylight, but there we go.
Cha-cha!
At this point, you see the other two Qatari are long gone, and Zappo's kind of trailing behind you into the tavern at a distance. You see the innkeeper just walking off, and you make your ways inside the tavern, and you're just going to grab a table to sit at, or...
Yeah, probably another round of drinks and water and wait it out.
All right, so you guys grab some drinks from the bar, assuming that given the exceptional circumstances, the innkeeper probably won't mind too much. You grab yourselves a table, and eventually he returns. He goes, "Right, the body's been taken care of. I mean, Hardo's on his way. I suggest that you might want to go meet him by the entrance to the pass. Just... yeah, be careful. His friends might be, you know, not too happy to see you again.
Have we got the letter that the innkeeper's written, or did he give that to the guards or something like that?
He hasn't handed you anything.
Okay.
Have you got that letter you were gonna write?
I gave it to a guard that I sent to fetch Hardo.
Oh, fair enough then.
I simply
What?
explained what I saw him do. It's by no means gonna get you off lightly, but I did what
Well,
I could.
Let's see how it plays out.
And I guess we'll, start making our way to the pass to meet.
All right.
Marshal Hardo.
So you guys make your way out of the tavern and you start heading northwards out of the town, and it very quickly stops being even tiled at all and turns into a little more than a sort of gravel dirt road, and you start making your way up, and eventually over the horizon you instead see a large figure on a white horse this time, not in a carriage. So there's a rider in the distance that, from his silhouette, you would certainly guess is Hardo, and you probably have a few moments before he catches up with you.
The whole time when we're walking there, I'm like, you know, like the spazzy anxiety, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my
Yeah.
god, oh my god. That's me the whole time there.
But is Zappo with us?
No,
If he-
Zappo remained in the tavern.
Okay, fair enough.
So are we just plain honest? Just tell how it happened?
I mean, that's the only defense we have.
All right, well, that's good, because I didn't do anything.
Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening.
What, you can't believe that a holy strike killed a man? I mean,
I didn't mean it.
I don't think that's a good defense.
I've never actually used my holy strike on a person.
I don't think that's a good defense either.
And you decided the first time was a guy that was just
He's beating up on Zappo. You guys didn't want to stop him too?
In his fairness, Zappo was annoying.
He was. He is. He is. He is annoyed.
Did you not hear the way he was drinking his drink?
Yeah, but he didn't deserve to get absolutely.
Can you
Killed
imagine
over
being
it.
on a boat for several hours of him drinking a drink like that?
It would probably spill. You can't drink a drink like that on a boat.
Okay. Anyway, Caroline, I suggest you go first, since this is technically, well, it's not technically, this is your fault, so after you.
Okay. I go up
All right,
first.
so you just keep walking down the path, and eventually he catches up to you, and he dismounts from his horse and puts his hand on his hips and looks down, and he seems to stare at the ground for an eternity, and he's just there motionless, staring at the floor. And he throws his head back suddenly and goes, "Ah! Now this is a new one! Care to explain what happened?"
Well, Tsar was picking on his teammate Zappo and looked like he was gonna do very.
Now, which one's Zappo? Zar's the big unfriendly fellow.
This is a little goblin guy.
Oh, yes, the goblin, yes. He found me
Yeah.
and asked if he could change squads. He said the lizard had agreed. I told him that we carefully select people for squads. Yes.
Yeah, so
Funny
he,
little chap.
Yeah, so Tsar threw him in a fountain, broke his nose,
Threw him in a fountain. Is he alright?
and then so we intervened to try to stop him from hurting Zappo. And I hit him a little too hard. And he may have died.
Now... May.
Hit him with magic! You just hear over the shoulder.
Yes. You might have to define a little too hard for me.
2 damage.
Oh.
Sorry.
I felt compelled to help him and used some of my holy divine power to help him.
Now the note that Simon, the innkeeper, gave to me tells me that he attacked you first after causing somewhat of a ruckus in the establishment.
Yeah,
Is
he
this true?
came in, said, if I can remember the exact quotation, we're going to show you what happens to people who run off, and grabbed Zappo and kind of almost threw him out of the inn. And
Wow.
then,
Then it escalated outside.
it escalated from there.
That sounds bad, doesn't it?
I believe roughly the exact words that Coraline said were, "We want you to stop bullying Zappo," and why don't you pick on someone your own size, was actually the statement. And he said, "Very well, that's enough of an invitation," and drew his weapons and attacked.
Well, I'm rather inclined to believe you all, but naturally my inclination is not enough, as I'm sure that you can understand. Now, I will not make any of you do this, but I have a test that could get to the bottom of this. But you must enter it willingly. So, and he points his hand to the ground to the left of him. And slowly out of the ground, a large circle begins glowing with white light coming out of the ground. He goes, "Now, should any of you wish to enter the circle and, well, tell me what it is that happened again, I'd consider the matter closed."
Do I recognize that spell?
Make me a religion check.
I feel like I might.
Is it a zone of truth?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
From
Ooh,
That one.
21.
From your arcane learnings and the beginning of the divine teachings that you'd undertook, you'd know that that is something that you will shortly be capable of doing, which is a zone of truth spell, which you would find it exceedingly hard to tell a lie within.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that he is most likely a very powerful spellcaster beyond you, you would assume that it would be near impossible for you to tell a lie in it. But you're welcome to try to do so, should you wish to.
No, I'm good, but I will walk into the circle.
The prime suspect. Ah! Well then, tell me what it is happened.
I kind of repeat more or less the...
Okay, sure. So you repeat your version of events
just
with
for
him attacking
expedition.
first, and you going out there to help Zappo, and what you tell him is entirely true. You're not lying, I assume, of any aspect of it, so no roll needed. And he sort of looks at you and smiles and goes, "I thought it would be as much. Well, very well." And he waves his hand, and the circle fades out on the floor, and he goes, "Forgive me for the necessary unpleasantness. I simply had to be sure, you know. But, okay. I think that we can consider this matter closed for now. However, Tsar's friends may be... Well, I shall speak to them, and you say that they ran, so they can't have been... You know, perhaps they were being led astray in events. I shall speak to them, but for now, consider it closed. Oh, and, let's not tell Qatar about this." And with that, he sort of steps back on his stirrup and swings up on his horse, and he goes, "Oh, and Caroline, try not to worry. Stranger things will happen, trust me." And with that, he turns his horse around and rides off.
I like had that moment of like, oh. It's like he was like, all right. So I turn to the others and I go, "I guess we're okay."
Yeah, it wasn't so
that
bad.
was easy.
If that's what we get for murder, I can't wait to see what else is coming.
Okay, well, let's not try to murder anybody else, accidentally or not, for a while.
And you realize at this point, it's passing into late afternoon, and you're already, like, basically halfway up the trail to the... Well, to the start of the mountains, the Silver Peak Academy itself. So you could walk there feasibly, should you wish to.
I guess we must make our way to the academy then, or
Yes,
might as well.
yes. At long last, let's go.
I mean, unless
I
you
feel
have
like
any
Oz-
more civilians you want to kill, Caroline, before we...
You're not gonna let this go, are you?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah, let's go, Oz. Come on. I just
Yes.
kind of turn around just because I don't
All
want
right,
to hear.
so with Oz running twice the pace of any of the rest of you, the group begin to make their ways up, and eventually you start reaching where the ground begins to raise.
Is
and
Oz Naruto
Yeah,
running
is he?
again?
Pretty much, yeah. And the grasslands start to fade, and it turns to rock and more, and the air starts cooling as you realize that you're on a gentle climb for quite some time now, until all of a sudden the pass properly begins, and you're gonna have to start making your way essentially up narrow paths up the side of the mountain that seem to wind all the way around. You can't actually even see the academy from where you are, despite the obvious indications that you're near. And as you guys start making your way up, the mountain passes and the air cools, and the evening's beginning to set in. It's getting a little bit chilly. That's where we'll end things. We'll pick up next time with you all arriving. Sorry, Oz, with you all arriving at the Silver Peak Academy. So, thank you guys so much for playing. I hope you enjoyed the first episode. In true spectacular fashion, you absolutely fucked it, but
Yeah.
no, it's all good. That's exactly how it should go.
Oops.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed playing. And if you've been watching this, thank you so much for watching. Like I said at the beginning, r/guildgates if you want to discuss the show. And we'll be back next week, next Thursday. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.